Morning. Explosive new claims about the woman charged with being a Russian agent accused of using sex to gain influence. President Putin speaks out this morning.
An ABC News exclusive. The amazing new images of the soccer team reuniting with their families. And only on GMA, the youngest boy rescued from that cave in Thailand. The 11-year-old now telling his story of those terrifying weeks trapped and new details about how he escaped on his coach's back.
Terrifying moments on board. New video inside a plane's cabin as it crashes overseas. Flames shooting out of the engine. The deadly accident under investigation.
Shark scare. 2 children bitten just miles and minutes apart off the coast of New York. This shark captured after a tooth pulled from one of the children's legs, as we hear from both victims this morning.
And a powerful night at the ESPYs.
You matter, and you are not alone.
Olympic gold medalist Ali Raceman and more than 100 survivors honored for their courage. And the hero Parkland coaches who sacrificed their lives for their students celebrating.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
We do say good morning, America. Great to have you with us on this thankful Thursday, and it was such a special night at the ESPYs.
It really was. It was also a history-making night. Race car driver Danica Patrick became the first woman to host the show, and yes, it had a lot of heart, but she had some fun with Adam Rippon, who was there as a special GMA correspondent and presenter. She introduced him as Instagram's Adam Rippon. Oh, yeah, he also won a medal.
He's your buddy.
Well, he's everybody's buddy, isn't he? He's so fun to be around.
Looking forward to his report later.
A lot more on that coming up. But first, the brand new fallout from the president's summit with Vladimir Putin. His latest response on Russian meddling, another contradiction of top intelligence officials, has White House officials scrambling to explain. The president is tweeting again just moments ago about fake news. Our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega asked the key question of President Trump. She starts us off. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. This has absolutely nothing to do with fake news. It has everything to do with continual head-spinning explanations from this president and this White House. Now, for the second time this week, they are here in damage control mode. When I asked the president if Russia is still a threat, he said no. But now the White House says no. In this case, didn't really mean no. Faced with mounting criticism that he's too soft on Russia, President Trump now says he has been tough on Vladimir Putin behind closed doors. The president telling CBS News he holds Putin personally responsible for meddling in the 2016 election.
I let him know we can't have this, we're not going to have it, and that's the way it's going to be.
But the tough talk only went so far. As for whether Putin lied,
I don't want to get into whether or not he's lying. I can only say that I do have confidence in our intelligence agencies as currently constituted.
it comes after this stunning contradiction from the president.
Is Russia still targeting the U.S., Mr. President?
Press, let's go. Make your way out.
No, you don't believe that to be the case?
But that is exactly the opposite of what his own FBI director said overnight.
The intelligence community's assessment has not changed. My view has not changed, which is that Russia attempted to interfere with the last election, and that it continues to engage in malign influence operations to this day.
And what his director of national intelligence said on Monday, warning that Russia is engaged in ongoing pervasive efforts to undermine our democracy. Now, for the second time this week, the White House is in cleanup mode. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president wasn't actually saying no to our question about whether Russia is still targeting the U.S.
We had a chance to speak with the president after those comments, and the president said thank you very much and was saying no to answering questions.
Except the reality is he answered not just once, but twice.
No, you don't believe that to be the case?
And as for not wanting to answer questions, well, he went on to answer another one from another reporter.
There's been no president ever as tough as I have been on Russia. And I think President Putin knows that better than anybody, certainly a lot better than the media.
So we asked for a clarification of the clarification.
Dan Coates said point blank the threat is still ongoing from Russia. Does this White House believe that currently this threat is still ongoing?
We believe that the threat still exists, which is why we are taking steps to prevent it.
From Republicans, the fallout was fierce.
I think it's clear that Russia is trying to interfere with U.S. elections.
Mistrusts our intelligence services and believes the words of Putin.
So Congress is scratching its head. A lot of journalists here were certainly scratching their heads. But back to my exchange, the White House says once again the president is being misunderstood. But, you know, this is really raising a lot of serious questions about credibility here, George, and whether the American public can trust what the president himself says and then what his aides go out to explain or try to say after.
That is the question, Cecilia. You know, we all saw the press conference in Helsinki. We all just watched you, what, 6 feet away from the president, looking him in the eye. Did he answer your question?
So look, these can be confusing experiences in what we call these pool sprays, where the press is allowed to go in and see what the president is doing and ask questions on the back end. They can be noisy. There can be a lot of jostling. This was not that case. It was quiet when I asked my question. The president looked right at me. He made eye contact when he answered. And as I said in my story, he answered the question twice. When Sarah Sanders says that no meant that he didn't want to answer more questions, George, he then went on to answer another reporter's question. So a lot of people really just not buying that excuse.
We saw what we saw. Cecilia, thanks very much. Let's bring in our national security analyst, Tom Bossert, who is the advisor for Homeland Security for President Trump. And Tom, you've seen all this intelligence. We know that President Trump was first briefed about the intelligence back in August 2016 as a candidate 2 weeks before the inauguration, received a full briefing as well, had constant access to his intelligence officials since then. How do you explain, as someone who was there for more than a year and a half, why the president has so much trouble clearly and convincingly accepting this case for Russian interference?
Yeah, George, good morning. I think it's just the constant frustration for him that it gets turned into a questioning of the legitimacy of the outcome of the election, which, you know, he just can't tolerate, and it ends up being spun that way. I'll tell you, I was in that briefing the 2 weeks before the inauguration. That one focused primarily on the cyber component of what the Russians did, not the information operations. Those information operations are ongoing. I agree with the FBI director.
So that they are ongoing, and as the president first said, he didn't believe it, but that we also had a briefing from the Homeland Security Secretary over the weekend. Second question coming out of that crisis, summit crisis with Vladimir Putin, the White House said yesterday they were considering this proposal that the president called incredible from Vladimir Putin, that he would allow U.S. intelligence agents to interview those suspected in Russia if in return Russian intelligence agents could interview people suspected, he said, of committing crimes against Russia, including the former U.S. ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul. A host of foreign policy officials say it's appalling that the White House is even considering this proposal.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, at this point, entertaining a proposal like that in a meeting might allow you to get through the meeting and accomplish your other objectives. But if the president comes back home, rests on that, and then still considers it, that would be a significant mistake. In fact, it's galling, really, because having seen the evidence, especially that I've seen, there's no investigative benefit to that. It just benefits Russia and clouds the matter a little bit. I don't think the president will take that seriously at the end of the day. I think it's good for us to remind him that that's probably a bad idea.
If you were in the White House right now, what would you be advising the president to do about this whole situation?
Well, I think he needs to do two things. Right now, he's taken back a little of the Helsinki misstep. That was a good thing. There's still a lot of negative coverage. I think what he needs to go out and do is reassure the 29 now NATO members that there's still stability in that organization and the collective defense that it offers, so that they don't feel as if he has walked away from them and walked to Putin. That's really the only substantive thing that he needs to do. The rest is domestic political debate, and that will play itself out.
Tom Bossert, thanks for your insight this morning. Robin?
All right, George, now to new details about that woman accused of being a Russian agent working to influence American politics. Federal prosecutors are now saying that Maria Butina tried to use sex to gain a position of influence. Our Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has more. He's there in Washington for us. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. Today, that suspected Russian agent is in a D.C. jail, deemed a high risk of fleeing the country. The government is trying to portray 29-year-old Maria Butina as the glamorous femme fatale, willing to use sex in order to infiltrate American society.
You will become scallops, weapons in a global struggle for power.
Like something out of that fictional movie Red Sparrow, whose lead character uses every trick in the book for espionage. Authorities argued in court Wednesday that Butina was funded by a Russian oligarch and was in constant communication with suspected Russian intelligence officials. Here's Butina with an alleged Russian operative in this government photo taken in a D.C. restaurant. And prosecutors claim that she had an American boyfriend who was instrumental in aiding her covert influence operation. All this part of an alleged effort to cozy up to top NRA officials and U.S. politicians, including posting pictures on social media. This is Bettina speaking at a U.S. conference.
I'm the board member of the Right to Bear Arms.
Asking then-candidate Donald Trump a question in 2015.
Do you want to continue the politics of sanctions?
I believe I would get along very nicely with Putin.
She's drawing comparisons to Anna Chapman, that infamous red-headed Russian intelligence operative who was arrested as a spy in 2010. According to prosecutors, one of her Russian contacts joked, "You have upstaged Anna Chapman. She poses with toy pistols while you're being published with real ones." Authorities say she was packing boxes and sending money to Russia, suggesting she might be planning an escape. But her attorney says she's innocent.
She's not an agent of the Russian government. She's a young student seeking to make her way in America.
Her attorney says she's not a flight risk, that 15 agents searched her home last April, and she made no attempt to run. But the judge, after hearing that Bettina could walk into a Russian embassy or get into a diplomatic vehicle and be beyond the reach of U.S. law enforcement, thought otherwise, and is keeping her in jail pending trial. Robin?
Pierre, thank you. Amy?
Robin, now to those large wildfires out west. At least 44 burning this morning, one of them in Oregon turning deadly. And now more heat is moving in. Ginger has been tracking it all for us. Good morning, Ginger.
Amy, I wish we could take the temperature down, but it is not happening. Behind me, you see the images of the substation fire. This is the deadly one in Oregon of late. At least 50,000 acres burning. And then we go to Santa Barbara County, the Cruces fire. More than 170 acres. They're fighting that one from the ground and below. And you've also got that now up to 20% contained. You deal with the Ferguson fire, and this one, of course, is the one we've been watching that was deadly over the weekend. Now more than 17,000 acres burning and only 5% contained. So we're going to be watching so many of these wildfires, but also the heat settling in, spreading east, and intensifying through much of the nation. Waco was 108 yesterday. That's the hottest they've been since August 2011. George?
Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to get the latest now on the young boys rescued from the cave in Thailand. They are back home, reunited with their families, and our foreign correspondent James Longman, on site from the start of this incredible story, had the chance to speak with some of the boys. Good morning, James.
Good morning, George, and you can probably hear a typhoon has hit us now. This is the real rain, the kind of weather they wanted to avoid ahead of that rescue. But yes, as you say, we have been speaking to some of the families, and particularly the youngest boy, 11 years old. And we should say that we didn't go into too much detail, of course, because he is so young, but he welcomed us into his home with a broad smile. He is just happy to be out of that cave.
This morning, for the first time,
nice to meet you.
We're hearing from the youngest boy in that cave, 11-year-old Titan.
Were you surprised when you saw the whole world waiting for you?
Titan telling us he wasn't, knowing in his heart his parents would be right there waiting for him. In this ABC News exclusive, Titan giving us a first-hand account of his heart-stopping rescue on the back of his coach.
Did the coach carry Titan out of the cave?
His dad telling us Titan held on to the coach's back while he swam through those flooded tunnels. When Titan finally arrived home, he was greeted with cheers and warm embraces. The boys survived by drinking fresh water they found in a rock and learning meditation techniques from their coach. But we're not asking them for further details because these young boys may still need time to process their ordeal. After being released from the hospital, 11 of the boys and their coach attending a ceremony at a Buddhist temple, kneeling and praying for fortune.
So the boys have just kneeled in front of these newly ordained monks. They will too be ordained monks.
And at the presser just hours earlier, the soccer team suited up in their new uniforms, flashing up their V for victory. Moments nearly a month in the making. Countless smiles, hugs and photos as the boys returned to their homes for the first time since they ventured into the cave. For 14-year-old Adul, the celebration included about 100 people in his community church, along with singing, dancing, and of course, a big bucket of KFC. The food he's been craving for weeks. Several of the reunions rooted in Thai tradition. Not long after 16-year-old Knight arrived home, he was doused in a bucket of water to call his mind back after being away for so long. For those 2 weeks trapped in that cave, to now in the freedom of the fresh air.
I was outside the cave for 2 weeks waiting for you.
Their smiles never fading.
And today's ceremony here at the temple, part of a longer journey for these boys. We hear they're going to be ordained and spend a period in quiet contemplation. just giving thanks for that extraordinary rescue. George?
Well, that is some story. Okay, James, thanks very much.
A lot of people giving thanks. Now to that powerful, powerful night at the ESPY Awards, honoring the best and brightest athletes and shining a light on true heroes, like the gymnasts who stood up to disgraced Dr. Larry Nassar and the Parkland coaches who sacrificed their lives for their students. TJ Holmes is here with much more on all this. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, Robin, there was something that 141 women wanted us to see last night. All of them standing on stage together, giving the world what they say is a new portrait of survival and courage. Yes, the ESPYs is about celebrating athletic achievement, but it's also about celebrating athletes for what they do outside of their arenas.
Stellar athletes joined forces for an emotional moment many at these ESPYs won't soon forget.
We may suffer alone, but we survive together.
Gold medal Olympic gymnast Aly Raisman leading a group of over 100 young athletes who have spoken out about the sexual abuse they suffered under the care of former Michigan State and USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar.
Whether you act or do nothing, you are shaping the world that we live in, impacting others. All we needed was one adult to have the integrity to stand between us and Larry Nassar.
The group received the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Danica Patrick made history as the first ever female ESPY host.
I'd make a joke about the U.S. soccer team, but they didn't qualify for this monologue.
While Chloe Kim took home the ESPY for Best Female Athlete,
Thank you so much.
but it was the show's emotional moments that packed the biggest punch. The Coach of the Year award went to Scott Beagle, Aaron Feist, and Chris Hickson, 3 Marjorie Stoneman Douglas coaches who were killed in the mass shooting in Parkland, Florida. Their families, along with a fellow coach, accepted the award on their behalf.
Scott, Aaron, and Chris were heroes, and they were coaches, but they were also husbands, fathers, and sons.
Another nice moment last night. Jim Kelly from the Buffalo Bills. Just classic, just a Hall of Fame quarterback who's been battling cancer for quite some time. He had this line, I think is worth noting. He said, make a difference today for someone who is fighting for their tomorrow. He said, sometimes that's just as simple as smiling for somebody when they walk in a room. Somebody needs a little something, and we can all do that. So it's a night to celebrate athletes, but oftentimes what they do. Not
well, and you saw that with that powerful lineup of women across the stage.
They wanted that image. They said, we want the world to see this. Let's all together.
It's great. Thanks, TJ.
You got it, guys.
All right, thank you, TJ. We're going to head back now to Ginger with severe weather in the Midwest right now.
Yes, and a reminder, Amy, this is why you don't mess with damaging winds. When you've got a severe storm coming through, this is from New Hampshire, from the storms the other day, it crashes into the ground there. Luckily, nobody hurt. Today, we've got the chance for doing that in Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, the rainy cities, sponsored by Liberty Mutual.
You're turning onto the street when you barely clip a passing car. Minor accident, no big deal, right? Wrong. Your insurance company is going to raise your rate after the other car got a scratch so small you could have fixed it with a pen. Maybe you should take that pen and use it to sign up with a different insurance company.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What a gorgeous day to get out here in mid-July. Yes, the humidity is still low. Temperature is quite comfortable. We'll top out today in the mid-80s, getting out of the 60s here early morning. So sunshine for today, then over the weekend, rain chances go way up. And now we've got this unsettled weather pattern that will stay with us right through next week. But as far as the weekend goes, your best chance is Saturday afternoon and evening, especially around 10, 11 o'clock Saturday. And anytime some showers on Sunday, maybe even a thunderstorm or two. Highs in the lower 80s.
Coming up, that shark scare. 2 children apparently bitten just miles apart from each other. This shark was caught after the new warning this morning and why this time of year may be especially dangerous.
And parents behaving badly. Look at this youth referee calling foul on behavior like this on the sidelines, how he's trying to hold parents accountable.
And then the moment on stage last night that has so many people talking, the boss and the piano man, and the big surprise next.